Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? As for me, I'm doing just fine. So I'm here today to talk to you about the book of Genesis, chapter 40. Previously, we talked about chapter 39, and in that chapter, we learned that Joseph was in prison because of Potiphar's wife falsely accused him of rape. When in reality, she was the one trying to get him to lay with her, and he refused. So now we're in Genesis chapter 40, and I'm going to begin reading in the first verse. And it came to pass after these things that the butler, the king of Egypt, and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butler, and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came into them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me then, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In a dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head and restore thee unto thy place. And thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when wast thou his butler. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also I have done nothing that should put me into this dungeon. And the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, and he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head, and in the uppermost basket there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants, and he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again. But he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand, But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Pharaoh, but forgot him. Amen. That concludes the reading of Genesis chapter 40. Wow, so let's talk about this. So we know that Joseph was in jail for something that he didn't do, for something that he did not do. We know that Pharaoh's wife thought Joseph found him attractive and wanted to lay with him, and Joseph refused. She tried over and over, and Joseph would not give in. Therefore, she grabbed him, and he ran. And he ran, and he left his clothes. She grabbed his shirt, and he left it. And so she accused him of trying to rape her. And when Pharaoh heard about that, of course, he was upset, and he put Joseph in jail. So Joseph is in jail for something that he did not do. However, the Lord was with him. The Lord was with him. And Joseph had favor even in jail. So then we have the butler and the baker. They came to jail. And then they had a dream, and Joseph was able to interpret their dream. So for one, the interpretation was that he was going to get out of jail and go back to his job. And for the other, he was going to be hung. So the butler was going to get his job back, get out of jail, but the baker was going to be hung. So So Joseph asked the butler to remember him and tell them about him so that he can also get out of jail. But the chief butler did not remember Joseph. And Joseph remained in jail in chapter 40 of Genesis. So I just wanted to bring that to you, that sometimes things are rough. But God said that he'll be with you. He'll be with you always. So I think for this, a good thing to remember, that even though that we may be lied on, we may be cast in prison, we may be mistreated, to remain faithful to the word of the Lord, to remain faithful, even if that faithfulness gets you put in jail, gets you lied on, just like it did for Joseph. But Joseph still remained faithful to the Lord, and the Lord was still with him. In this life, we're going to go through ups and downs. We're going to go through trials and tribulations. And what's important is how we go through them, how we go through these things. And we have to go through them praising God, because the way has already been made. But so many times we look at our situation, what it looks like and what it feels like in the natural, when it's already worked out. But in the natural, we don't see it. So we end up gearing off left and missing our blessings. But Joseph did not do this. Joseph stayed faithful. He remained faithful. And God was with him. And he had favor. Even in the prison, he had favor. So I'm going to end this video now. And I hope you all enjoyed it. That was Genesis chapter 40. God bless you all. Bye.